And it looks like we have, let's see, hold on, there's our agenda.
So are we expecting Mayor Dedina?
No, he is not able to attend.
Okay. So are we ready to get going then?
Yes, we are.
Very good. Please call roll.
Director Humora,
Here.
Director LaCava.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Any public comment non-agenda?
There are no written public comments and there are no hands raised.
Thank you very much. Anything to add or withdraw from the agenda from staff or directors? Hearing none, seeing head shaking, we'll move on to item 1. Dr. Washington.
Thank you, Chair Humora. We've got a short agenda for this meeting, but I wanted to take a few moments just to sort of paint the timeline leading up to the Treasurer's Report component of the meeting and the timing of actual reporting of our year-to-date month-end financials. There may be 1 or 2 meetings that we have scheduled during the first week of each month on the Thursday that we may not have a financial statement to present. Meaning that it would still be in draft form, and we would certainly provide advance notice when that scenario plays out. But I just thought I'd take an opportunity just to kind of lay that out, given the timing of the meetings and then the timing of rolling into the board meetings, as that has some implications on the timing of the financial statements. So we are presenting the Treasurer's Report for the period ending February 28th, ending 8 months of our fiscal period. And we're seeking a recommendation from this committee to receive and file the Treasurer's Report for final approval, of course, at the board meeting. So with that said, I'd like to introduce Tim McLemont, our finance manager, and I've asked Tim to present the Treasurer's Report for this meeting. So Tim, I will pass it off to you.
Thanks, Eric. Good afternoon, Chair Humora, Director LaCava, Tim McLemont, Finance Manager at SDCP. So getting to the first slide, I'll keep my comments brief. SDCP's revenue is about 228 million year to date through February. Revenue or expenses are about $222 million. When you compare that to our actual budget that we just amended a couple months ago, it's in line with the budget, and there are no surprises here. It's within 1%. So it's within the margin of error and kind of what we expected in terms of actuals and budget, which I think is a good thing. Kimberly, if you go to the next slide. Similarly, our actuals compared to our pro forma projections are very close and within the margin of error, less than 1% what we're expecting. So you can see here revenue is a little under 1% under what we were expecting in our pro forma. And then expenses are almost right on target, which is pretty amazing, which is just 0.08 percentage points away from what we projected in our pro forma. So overall, to summarize this very brief report, no surprises at all in terms of what we actually saw in revenue and expenses, in terms of what we projected both in our budget and SDCP's pro forma. Overall change in net position, the actual change in net position, $6.2 million, which again is within the margin of error, and is kind of what we're projecting in terms of our budget, and close to the pro forma projection. So with that said, Kimberly, if you can advance to the next slide, Chair Humora, I will turn it over back to you. That's the report for February, month ending February 28, 2022.
Thank you very much for the report. Are there any comments or questions from the committee?
One question, because I seem to lose track of the timelines. This doesn't reflect the residential rollout to the first initial cities.
I can respond to that. Director LaCava, this we'll start to see the rollout of the member cities reflected in our financial statements. We're actually starting to see now in the month of April, some of the remittances or some of the impact from those revenues from a cash flow standpoint. So it will likely not show a significant reflection in the actual financials until we get to the month in financial reporting cycle. That's when we'll kind of start to see some indication of those accounts rolling in. Those are projected in included in our pro forma or our projections. That's during the time when we'll start to see some of the impact from that rollout.
So we have IB residential is done, right? La Mesa is in the middle of it right now.
I believe La Mesa is pretty close to being wrapped up. I think we are queuing up now to roll out the next member city, which I believe is Encinitas.
Encinitas, okay.
Encinitas. And so far, the indications that we're getting from our data management and account services team is that the phase 3 rollout is really going according to plan. All of the ramp-ons and all of the data transfers seems to be pretty close to the timeline, with a very small margin of error of errors in terms of what we're seeing rapid on and what SDG and E is reporting that we should expect. So everything seems to align for the most part at this point with regard to the ramp on the phase 3.
Okay. And, you know, obviously this report shows us being running pretty tight to the budget, which is always great news. Is there, when you drill down the numbers, is there any other trends that the bottom line doesn't reveal, or is this really kind of across the board, really matching up with our projected budget?
Well, for the most part, everything's matching up according to the budget and the pro forma. We're still pretty much in our first year of ramp on. So we're actually collecting trends now that we'll be able to perform some trend analyses and some comparison analyses.
Sure.
Probably this time next year, as once we wrap up phase 3 and we can kind of start to see the implications of that ramp on trickling through our financials, then we'll have better trends. But for the most part, the pro forma and the budget are the key indicators in terms of how we're trending from a fiscal standpoint.
Okay, I don't have any other questions. I don't know if you need a motion.
We do need
Okay.
recommendation we need a recommendation to recommend to the board that the treasurer's report be received and filed under the consent calendar.
Okay, well, I'll move the staff recommendation.
I'll second it.
And
Do we have to take a vote on a recommendation to receive and file?
We're being very perfunctory. Without our attorneys here, making sure that we don't get in trouble without the attorneys here.
yeah, exactly. I'm very nervous about this vote. It's going to be. So I'll vote yes.
So do I.
All right, it passed with
Okay.
both directors voting yes.
All right.
I think last is any director comments?
Yep.
Me neither, other than thank you very much, staff. Good job on the budget. And looking forward to seeing residential revenues rolling in.
Yeah.
As are we. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Director LaCava.
Great. All right. Thank you.